Yo everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to another trade recap. Now, today was interesting. We ended the day on a small loss, or a regular size loss, $160 loss, $150 loss before fees. But the thing about today, first of all, I'll throw up the, screenshot on the screen, but I guess Apex was having some sort of issue with their accounts or whatever, their Trade accounts, I'm not sure. So none of my orders would get filled on my funded account. So we took only one loss on the live account, which turned out, or we took only one trade on the live account, turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and we ended up only losing on the live account and taking any loss on our funded accounts. Now, I will say today was unfortunate. This has been happening a little bit too much. We were up a 1.77 to 1R, and I'm gonna just go ahead and throw the screen recording up. So here you can see this trade that I took. Basically, we had a very big move to the downside on the 1 hour time frame. Very big move to the downside, and we stabilized at this area of demand that I had marked out, which area demand, I had this area marked out. It is basically the bottom of the daily gap that was on SPY. So if we pull up Webull, we look at this daily time frame, we ended up reaching the bottom of this daily gap on SPY and stabilizing, moving up. Yeah, we can look at the 5 minute. It looks like this trade is ending up. It looks like this trade is gonna end up playing out, but there was a lot of sellers. So, anyways, whatever. We'll get into this recap real quick. But we can look at the 1 hour time frame. We had this sort of range, right? We had broken down these lows, came up, created some resistance, came back down, stabilized, and we had this little bit of a range that we were trading in. If you look on the 5, to be honest, this would have been a really clean short setup to short back to the low of day or something like that. So, anyways, let me just go over the idea of this trade. Right, we stabilized pre-market or post-market after what is it? During night session, I don't know. At some point, we ended up having this huge move down. We broke through these lows, and we had to show a really big move down to the bottom, and we filled the gap basically on SPY on the daily chart. I don't know why. It's super early. It's like 7:30 in the morning right now, so I'm just having trouble communicating, I guess. But we stabilized here. We created an area where a lot of buyers were coming in, right? And the open, I'm pretty sure this big green candle here was the open. I noticed in the past couple of days that using the open price will actually, the open of New York Open will act a lot as like support / resistance, like area where buyers or sellers will come in and basically control the direction. Like if we have so basically at open we had come down, we tried to break below open, and then we had a little wick below, tap back into this level here where I expected buyers to come in. We had a huge buy candle, and then sellers came down, tested VWAP, pushed back, and then what I would really have wanted to take, I really would have wanted to take a trade like this, like take longs here. This would be there. Put my stop at 21, and then target 2 to 1, and we would have hit with this trade perfectly actually. So it's unfortunate, but that's my ideal trade. The only reason I didn't take that was because it would have been an entry that I would have taken before, like well before 7 a.m. I always wait until the first 30-minute candle is completely formed, and then I wait for the second 30-minute candle to open to see how it's opening, to see what it's going to do, because oftentimes a new volatility will come into the markets with the second 30-minute candle, and a lot of times it will create a move in the opposite direction that will stop me out before price ends up continuing. So I always wait for the second 30-minute candle to open. I wait to see what's going to happen with that. And yeah, I mean, second 30-minute candle opened. I noticed there were a lot of buyers coming in. I thought this was a pretty solid entry to take. And yeah, like I said, we were up 1.77 to 1R, super close to our take profit, man. And yeah, these are the days like today where you're just it sucks, you know what I mean? It makes you want to come back, like you miss your TP by like a couple ticks, and it just makes you want to come back into the markets and just start over trading. It makes you want to just take more setups, you know what I mean? But the one, there's a couple things like I don't really like about how today played out. So first of all, I really wasn't expecting this area to be as prominent as it was to like create a full-on reversal. So when we tapped into this area, we started rejecting. I figured that the next candle would buy up, but then once we flipped this candle, I should have gotten out. Like this was an insane amount of ticks to like just to be able to create a huge wick after having all this buy pressure. As soon as we barely tap into this level, right? We immediately flip, and then we're followed by a very bearish move to the downside, and then this candle here stops me out, flips, comes back to the entry, and then it just gets taken out again. So yeah, I was not expecting this area to be as prominent as I wasn't really expecting us to be in a range, like in this range today. So if I was expecting this range, then obviously I wouldn't want to buy like in the middle of the range. But all that I saw was we had a strong push off this level. We filled the gap on SPY, and then we started to move back up, and there was a lot of bullish confirmations within this price action that I was seeing, right? And obviously, like I said, I really wanted to take a trade off of this candle before it closed, but I didn't because that would be breaking my rule of the 7 a.m. wait till 7 a.m. to take the first trade. So yeah, I think today was just unfortunate, right? If I had expected this area to be more prominent, then the obvious trade would be to take shorts off of this flip. And what I should have done is I should have just got out at break even, and if I believe price was still going to move up, then I should have taken one more trade because break even doesn't add any more risk onto the trade, right? Also, today's a no news Monday, so whether that means we're going to have more chop or we're going to have a clean direction, I don't know. Right now, price is actually ripping back up towards these highs, so that sucks for me. Let's see, this is my Apex account. Yeah, you can, oh yeah. So yeah, days like today, they just suck. You know, I can assume that price is most likely going to move up at least to these highs, probably higher. This is very bullish price action, but yeah, you can say I couldn't get execution off of the funded account. But on my live account, this is where we took our trade. We took a loss of 160, 155 before fees. The fees on the live account, man, they get you like $7 for 4 micros. But yeah, man, it sucks, man. They're just days like today, man, where you are just. Coming into the markets, I was pretty confident in a bullish bias, and I was expecting a pretty strong trend today just because of how low we had actually gotten, and we actually ended up filling that gap. I know there's a lot of liquidity at the bottom of that gap, and I really did expect price to push up, and we did have a pretty strong push off the gap, but unfortunately sellers came in and really reversed that, took me out, and then price continued moving up. So yeah, not ideal, you know what I mean? So like I was saying, days like today are the most challenging, right? Where it's like, okay, I really like the idea behind the trade, you know, I'm not too upset about the execution, and it's just like coming in to the markets, I had an idea of what was going to happen. I see my idea playing out without me after stopping me out, you know, those are very tough. I see we were right at take profit before price very aggressively reversed, and it's just like days like today, man, where you know you feel like you had a pretty good setup and all that, but you know, I mean, you were just in a little bit too early, and you got kind of chopped out, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, if I'd expected this range, then maybe I would have taken trades differently, but like I said, I didn't expect too many sellers really to come at this area, right? But it ended up playing out just like that. There were a lot of sellers that came in, reversed price, took stops, and then we ended up moving back up after we pretty much tested the open like again, right? The open is it's very prominent, right? Like boom, look at that. It's just man, watching this happen, man, in real time, it's not fun. Yeah. A good entry would be longs off the open after this candle completely breaks through or engulfs this red candle. That'd be a pretty good entry, right? It's basically just like a retest of the open and a huge push up. Whether this candle will actually, if this thing moves back down, that'd be crazy. I doubt it. But you know what I mean. Regardless, days like today, man, they're tough. You know what I mean. We were right at TP. We got flipped, we got trapped, we got stopped out, and then price started to run. It is rough, you know what I mean? Like I keep saying, man, days like today are when in the past, what I would have done is I would just overtrade it, you know? Maybe I would have taken shorts, maybe I would have taken longs. I definitely wouldn't have waited all the way for this to happen and then take a re-entry. Most likely I would have probably taken longs, you know, maybe over here, and I would have just ended up getting end of the day most likely in crazy drawdown. So yeah, that's one thing I can say is that the trading and the discipline has been getting a lot better, because like I said, in the past this would have definitely led to a day where over trading happened, right? You know, I was coming into the markets expecting a pretty big push up, and we kind of got that at the open. I mean, we got a pretty big push up at the open, but we weren't exactly able to follow through how I expected, and instead we kind of ended up in this sort of little range. I wouldn't say it's really chop. It's kind of chop, but like I said, there's clear moves to happen, right? Could have taken shorts off of the flip. I'm not sure if that would have led to full TP or not, but and then like I said, it is already almost 8 a.m. It's 7:41 actually, but if we had waited this long, which like really usually don't. I mean, I'm usually in a trade around 7:05, maybe 7:10 at the latest. But yeah, if we had waited this long, then this entry here would have been pretty good. Taking that long setup, maybe put stops below and target the high of day or this level or whatever. That would have definitely given us a 2-to-1 R, 2 plus to 1 R. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. Unfortunately, that's not how it played out. We took our longs here. Not expecting price to really range how it did, you know, maybe expecting maybe reversal at some point off this area, but still expecting price to be able to hit our TP, and it just didn't happen, you know. As soon as we tapped in, we got that huge rejection. I should have gotten out of break even, right? What I should have done is I should have gotten out of break even and analyzed the markets a little more, thinking in terms of this might be a rangy day, right? But because even while I was in the trade, I was thinking like, yeah, I should get out of break even. But I didn't. I really wanted to see my trade play out, so I just let it run. I think like if you are in a trade and one candle puts you up a 1.77 to 1 R, and then it flips and closes red, that is a pretty off of a level that you have marked out. That is a pretty significant sign that like, hey, let's consider getting out of break even. And you know, unfortunately, that's not what happened. Instead, we let stops get hit, which, you know, like I said, I knew how much risk I was putting on. I used proper risk management, I didn't overtrade, blah blah blah. But it was a loss that was somewhat preventable, and I'm not super upset about the setup that I took. Right, like I said, if I was expecting a really big reversal, then yeah, probably taking a trade in the middle of the range wouldn't have been ideal. But also at the same time, like I did want to take a trade off of this candle, but I wasn't able to because of the time of day it was, and so we didn't end up actually getting that big retracement until a lot later on in AM sesh. So I looked at this as the retracement, and then I looked at that we were going to continue moving up, and unfortunately that's not what happened. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, we had another day similar to what's happening today. We had it like last week, I think, where we were up literally the same amount of 1.77 to 1 R in like one candle, and then we got a huge reversal, and we ended up getting stopped out. So it's happened twice this year so far, and yeah, I think that it's like, you know what I mean, it's not really horrible. It shows me that our strategy is still working. Even on losses, our strategy is still working because what happened? We had enough buyers come up to actually push us a decent amount. Like if I'm in a trade and it hits a 1-to-1, I still count that. I still think that's usually a pretty good trade. You know, I'm not saying that like the R multiple that you hit in your trades, like what determines if it's a good trade or not. You know, because I could take a bad trade that hits a 1-to-1 and then like gets completely stopped out. You know, if I'm not following my strategy. But if I'm following my strategy and I see the trade almost hit TP, you know, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm following my strategy. We got close to TP. The market conditions just weren't right today. You know what I mean? I'm not upset about it. You know, I've been doing a really good job at sticking to the strategy. I've been doing a really good job with the risk management. And the big thing is just trusting your strategy, trusting it'll play out over time. Yes, it does suck. I want to see if we ended up breaking. Yeah, we ended up breaking. So it does suck. You know, it sucks watching a trade that you thought was gonna play out, but without you. You know what I mean? And yeah, we would have like for sure gotten stopped out. Probably by like double. Right? It looks like we took our stop here. We basically moved down a similar amount of ticks or a similar amount of points. So yeah, like, and my entry here, there's no way I was gonna catch a W, right? If we were more patient, wait for the test of the open or whatever, see this move up, then maybe that would have been a better entry. But at the same time, it really taking an entry that late in the day is something I usually don't do, but maybe I will start doing because I've seen that does happen a good amount of times. So yeah, it sucks, you know, like I said, just seeing trades play out without you is a bad feeling. Just like seeing thinking that you had a good execution, but then coming back and seeing like, okay, we got stopped out, we moved down below our stop loss, but then we ended up stabilizing and moving back up, you know what I mean? That's also pretty tough. And yeah, that creates a lot of FOMO, you know what I mean? If I had taken, seeing in hindsight, you know, you could say like, yeah, if I had retaken this long, I would have ended the day up green, but would I have actually waited this long before I took this long setup? Would I have tried to like get in short down here and then get stopped out by as long, you know what I mean? It's like, would I have had the patience and discipline to really wait for this second step to form, or would I have taken the shorts off of this level? Like, it's like, you know what I mean? For me, the best thing to do is just take the loss and come back another day, you know what I mean? Because like I said, last December is when I was really like struggling with psychology, so I realized that putting on more trades wouldn't be ideal. But yeah, I mean, this was a pretty long, I don't know if it was a long video or not, but I feel like, you know what I mean, the setup was fine. We definitely missed out on like taking a trade down here, which would have been way better, because, you know, like I said, not during the time that I usually trade. And then here, during the time that I usually trade, we ended up actually getting the pullback, and then we ended up moving back up off of that. So, like I said, not great. Not bad either, though. You know, like I said, like if I were to rate this trade, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10, because like there's a clear thesis behind it. There's a decent setup. We were potentially a little bit impatient, but I think that like just seeing like the amount of buyers that pushed price after the second 30-minute candle started to open, you know, it shows that like, was it really like, was I really being too impatient? Like in hindsight, obviously we'll be like, oh yeah, I was being too impatient. We had this huge sell off, and then we started to move back up and hit our original TP and all that BS. But while I was trading, you know, I waited for the time of day that I like to trade, and yeah, so it's like, was I being too impatient? I don't know. I was expecting a really big bullish move today. I'm not sure if we're going to get a really big bullish move today, but we are definitely getting a pretty big move off of the, like, what's it called? Off the bottom end of the gap on SPY. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm really happy or upset about this trade. Like, I didn't really break my rules, but I could have managed it better. That's one big thing. I think that just managing this trade better would have been, this would have been a trade where if I had gotten out of break even after the flip, I would have had opportunity to re-enter in longs if I wanted to. I would have had opportunity to enter in shorts if I wanted to. And yeah, I think that the main takeaway from this trade is if we have a huge push like this and the entire candle gets flipped, it's probably a good idea to get a break even. And then, like I said, if you want to have a re-entry, you can, because you didn't put any more risk on the account. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, I don't know. Today was interesting. You know, it, like I said, days like this, they suck, where you watch your trade play out after getting stopped out, and you're thinking like, okay, what did I do wrong? Did I do anything wrong? You know, what could I have done to prevent this and all that stuff? In this case, I think the best course of action would have been to get out, break even, reassess, and then decide, okay, do I want to retake my long entry, or do I want to just end the day break even? Do I want to look at short entries, you know? But if we had gone out at break even, because we can, if anything, like, this flip basically just means that there are going to be a lot of sellers coming in, and so that puts me at risk of getting my stop hit, especially since we took an entry that was towards the middle of the range, right? So yeah, just the more and more I look at it, I think that the break even and then considering a re-entry would have been best to take today. You know, it does suck after being like, literally I was like $50 of profit away from hitting my take profit. I was up like $250 on this trade before price reversed, maybe even a little more, so I was like right at TP, and then we got reversed and we got stopped. So, you know, like, the best thing you can do on days like this is probably honestly just step away, right, from the charts. I'd say, you know, if you're struggling like with the psychology, you know, which, because like having your trade be right at TP and then reversing and hitting your stop, that's a pretty big psychological, you know what I mean, like that can cause revenge trading, that can cause overtrading. So I think that the best thing honestly is to just step away, you know, and that's what I did. I guess I could have managed it a lot better, but overall, you know what I mean, took the stop. You know, I saw prices moving in my direction. It's like, oh well, you know, I missed out. It is what it is. This happens. There's going to be plenty of opportunities in the markets to catch a better trade, or to catch another trade, whatever. It's only Monday. Took a small loss. One win will put us back in profit. So it's nothing to be too upset about. Like I said, even though the psychological aspect of being right at TP and then getting stopped out, it sucks. You know, that stuff happens. It's real, but and then of course having your trade play out after stopping out, you know, that's even that's just like added on to the bad feeling of taking that loss. But I will say, didn't overtrade, and we only took this trade on the live account, so we didn't take this trade on the funded account. But yeah, I mean, also it, like, the strategy is still working. You know, I still have faith in the strategy because we did get very close to TP. So yeah, you know what I mean. I think that's really all to say about this trade. Unfortunate how it played out. Unfortunate that this is something similar, actually pretty much the exact same. We were in longs. We hit a 1.77 to 1R. We were like right at TP, and then we got stopped out. So that happened last week. Happened again today. But like, yeah, days like this, and then the trade did play out. But that was like during FOMC, and the markets were really choppy, so I wasn't super upset about that one. This one, the direction, in my opinion, was pretty clear. We just had this sell-off right before the actual move, which happened during the time of day that I like to trade. So that does suck that happened. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the best thing you can do is just step away. If you think that you're going to be trying to overtrade, you're not going to be thinking clearly on the charts after something like this happens, the best thing you can do is just step away, take that loss, realize, you know, I stuck to strategy, I did everything that I like to do, I did pretty well, but it just didn't play out in my favor this time, you know what I mean? And that is the reality of trading, as everyone knows. This stuff happens. You can't always catch the perfect move, you know, sometimes you'll be up a lot and then you get stopped out. But the main takeaway from today would be managing trades in an instance like this, where we got that very big reversal, getting out break even, and then considering either re-entering or just taking break even on the day. That's something that we should do. And then the other thing is that we did really well was not let the trade really affect us and not go into tilt, you know what I mean? Basically live to trade another day, live to fight another day, whatever, rather than going on tilt and most likely losing all the money. So I think that's all for this video. There were some things to learn, but the one thing that I really took from the day is that my psychology is improving, right? My psychology is getting a lot better. I'm able to watch my trade, the right at TP unfortunately gets stopped out, and then the trade plays out, I'm able to just take that one trade, right? Like, that's some serious discipline. And so yeah, I think that W psychology, and like, yeah, man, there's nothing else to really say. Not the ideal way to start the week off, but at the same time, I'm not upset because we only took it on a live account because Apex was something was wrong with Apex trade evade accounts, and my orders were getting rejected. So blessing in disguise. But the other thing is, we had really good psychology, and we didn't overtrade. We didn't try to go in and change the daily loss limit. None of that. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be all for this video. I could probably sit here and ramble for a little bit longer, but I'm not going to. I think this video is already pretty long. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hopefully y'all caught some good trades today. You know, unfortunately, stop loss today, but I'm not upset about it, you know what I mean? Handle the psychology really well. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.